So today we're going to be looking at Jada Pinkett-Smith's hand analysis. She's been in the media a lot recently because of her memoir. She's told everybody now that she and Will were actually separated for many, many years.
7 years ago now.
Yes.
Y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
There was that infamous red table talk where she told him that she was in entanglement, which actually was another word for an affair, basically.
Then I got into an entanglement with August.
One thing to understand here is that the basic type of nature, right, that this person has, Jada Pinkett-Smith, is an airhead. Air quality is one of independence, right? And they need space, they need to be free, they can't be tied down so that they can like have their own perspective. Now on these pictures that I have, I can see some of the lines, I can see the basic shape, but I can't see the fingerprints. So, but I bet that she has what we call whorls, chakras, right? Circular patterns on some of her fingers that even exacerbate this need for, independence. And so, but there's this basic nature will always have create a deep need and a value system. They need and they value having their independence, literally their physical space. To tie them down will always be like a very difficult thing, and it will probably be short-lived and temporary, even if they do it.
I really didn't want to get married, but...
We only got married because Gammy was crying.
But I just knew, I was like, I never wanted to be married.
So that's like starting now. Add to that there's been tons of empirical science for the last 150 years that talk about the ratio between these two fingers. Now, her finger ratio reveals that it's more of a masculine type, which means even more independence, not dependence, not the one who has the estrogen finger longer that wants to be in the home space and be in charge of that home. No, she wants to be out in the world domain with her own kind of shining out and making her independent voice be heard. Furthermore, we see that the left and the right hand, they're pretty similar, right? But there's one part that's very dissimilar. And this is the way that her intelligence works at home and the way it works, and therefore how her mentality and her opinion is being projected into the world, how it's being framed, is drastically different. So what Will Smith or, the family members are going to see in terms of her behavior and her mentality, very two different things. So what we see is a very intelligent person who has long-term, strategic, rational thought. Everything is well-crafted, well thought out. There's a lot of consideration into implications and so on, to the point where there's going to be actually much less seen of her. And all the rest of the time, it's all strategizing and planning and preparing. Right? Now, what we see in the other hand, though, is someone who can suddenly and often plunge deep into dark emotion. And when I say dark emotion, I don't mean that in a pejorative way. I mean that in an objective way. Deep pain, deep darkness, mystery, which can often lead to extreme, irrational, depressive, and even suicidal behavior can easily come out of that. Very different from the rational, prepared, planned, strategic type of mentality we would see in the public portrayed.
My body's shaking, all these emotions come over me, and I'm starting to, it's like waterfall of like tears. And I'm like, and I have no idea, like my brain is not catching up to what is happening with my body. It was fear, anger, despair. And then I'm like, I want to die.
And so there's all these things put together. This is a drastically, independent person who needs their autonomy, their separateness, their space. She also has a clubbed top of her sun finger, which means she wants to be the one showing out and shining out, and she has her independence. So, so on a mentality or a psychology level and on the natural level, we have two men, right? in the sense of the emotionality and the needs and the natures that are going to be competing for independence and space.
The things that was kind of swirling in the press about you giving permission, which is, the only person that can give permission in that particular circumstance, myself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But
on top of it, at home, we have volatile, even suicidal, irrational, deep, very artistic, very inspired, very intuitive, but very unpredictable person to handle at home.
I was driving like through Mulholland and looking for cliffs to drive over,
Did you know that she had stated that she has felt suicidal at times?
Oh, no, I had no idea. But
yeah,
definitely, because anybody who has formed their mind this way, it's kind of like a concomitant factor. You're going to be very deeply artistic and you're going to, but, to go deep for that super deep, intuitive, artistic, free, kind of, irrational, like, modern art kind of stuff, that's the price you're going to pay. And another thing is that, whatever may be portrayed by her or, her family as this is what's going on in our family and here's our secret roundtable talk at our family, I seriously doubt any of that is actually true because, this is a person indicated on her hand that keeps the truth about her private life very distant from the public eye. There's a real strong need to keep, the truth of her private life very far from the public eye. So I would, guess that whatever is being portrayed as their private life that's being brought into public is simply a part of the show of, look at me and look at my stardom and so on, and not the truth about her private life.
interesting.